All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. This is Block Party. I'm your host, Mike Wall. We are doing a Packers Steelers preview. We're going to get to the tape in a second. Quickly, the offense. Everyone's going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. I think, and obviously he's playing at a high clip. He's got this team playing really well. They are 25 points per game. I think that's 11th in the league. They're top 5 in red zone scoring. They're top 5 in turnover margin. They're not efficient at running the football, but what I really wanted to focus on this game is they run a ton of like what we call jumbo 12. So 6 offensive linemen, and then Darnell Washington, number 80, who's like a 300-pound tight end out of University of Georgia a couple years ago. What they do in the run game and how that sets up some other things is super interesting. I love watching this, obviously, offensive line. You love watching just kind of pound the rock football. They're only averaging like 3.9 yards per carry, but they're getting the looks that they want. They keep it turns into kind of a real efficient offense. They've got some explosion at the running back position. So they're a fun team to watch. Obviously, DK Metcalf's out there doing his thing. Pat Freiermuth last week had a big breakout game as well. Defensively, I love talking about Cam Hayward. I love talking about TJ Watt. Patrick Queen's a great linebacker. This defense is averaging 23.3 points per game. That is not great. It's 19th, 20th in the league, but they are top 5 in red zone defense. Again, they're top 5 in takeaways. And there's a couple players in this game, we'll show it on tape, really, 95 and 55. They are good players, but when when 55 gets too close to the line of scrimmage, or if there were any of their linebackers get too close to the line of scrimmage, there's some holes to be taken advantage of because they're interior defensive tackles, not named Cam Hayward. Sometimes play it to a side, take a guess, and they do a good job of like releasing from their player, but sometimes they do it too early and give the running back an open lane. They put their linebackers in a bad spot. So I think this is an interesting team to play against as far as our ability on offense to create advantageous situations. You can see that they use Jalen Ramsey a ton in man coverage against the Bengals. Obviously, you're playing against some top tier guys where he struggled a little bit, but they're really good at disguising their coverages. Their safeties come down in the alley and they tackle hard. It's a fun football team to watch. This is going to be a real fun game. Let's check out the tape and get to a little summary afterwards.
Base 3-4 defense. They'll run nickel, obviously, out of when we got an 11 personnel in the field. That's what you see here. Big thing about these guys, multiple kind of ways to attack you with pressure. Obviously have really 2 future Hall of Famers, Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, on the defensive line. I like 51, Nick Herbig, coming off the second team. He is a good pass rusher. I think that 55 and 95 are a little bit. They'll give you some opportunities as far as run fits go in the run game, particularly 95 on the line of scrimmage. Does a good job of locking out, but then kind of is guessing his gaps. And we'll see that in a couple of big plays here. He just guesses wrong. But obviously, always a very good, very well-coached defense. These guys are physical. Their safeties play downhill. They have, I think, a guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, you think Jalen Ramsey is going to be in the Hall of Fame as well. All right, let's look at this first play, though. You see the safety bringing down. They just do a good job when they know it's run, or they have an indication that it's run, whether it's by formation. Obviously, you're looking here. You can see where the tight end's lined up. And now we're just going to bring 2. We're going to bring Mike Strong safety. And they do a good job of just hitting their gaps. Obviously, 2 guys inside that do a nice job. You see the way that they're playing here on defense with the double team on the right side. They're trying to take 2 and hold that guy for Patrick Queen. So they're trying to get big here, give him a little bit of space to operate. He's a really good linebacker. And they swarm to the football. I mean, this is just Pittsburgh Steelers, man. You got to buckle up. We got a 2nd and 8 play here. We're going to go double mugs. And I think the closer the linebackers get to the line of scrimmage, particularly in the run game, I think the better opportunities you have. Now, you look down here, something that's kind of interesting. They're playing Jalen Ramsey inside on the slot, down at the bottom of the screen. Putting those linebackers up. Obviously, you see that the Bengals are going to try to counter that by putting one player, the running back, up in the A gap. So you can do this when you're in shotgun. You can do that from depth too. But one thing that you watch on this tape, and I haven't watched every rep, but I've watched a couple, and you'll notice I'll back this up, but 55 kind of starts shifting his stance. So You see it right here. Just go through the whole scenario. He's shifting, he's shifting, he's shifting, he's shifting, he's shifting. So he finally gets down, then it's like, okay, he's not coming. This floors me. So 74, it's like, man, 34 is right behind you, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Now, obviously, this is what's starting to happen in the NFL, though. They're running so many pick games with these guys where they'll pick and then come on underneath that you're just kind of always setting a little bit tighter. Maybe you put your hand out. No, the best thing to do is just get what we call like on a line set. So you just get back going this way instead of going flat so you won't get picked. But instead, they sometimes just set down and then pop back out. And, these good pass rushers these days, man, that's just a real simple move. That's a big man, 95, though. Combine for the sack. 1st and 10. Highsmith's been a good player for them for a long time. 56 coming off the edge. Real power rusher, speed to power guy. And you'll see here on this play coming from the end zone, I think they just get with their run fits a little bit. This is like a wide zone play, and you'll see they just push out. And for whatever reason, this is 95 again on the center, and he's in perfect position. You just don't. He's in position to make this play. Patrick Queen's right behind him. He's there. And then somehow just doesn't get to it. Queen guesses wrong, tries to slip in. You see play side. Safety walks up, just makes it a real easy double. Nobody behind it. There are plays to be made in the game, in the running game, if we can just sustain our blocks and just stay on track. The big thing is staying on track, not trying to turn your shoulders back, trying to kind of cut a guy off, man. Just keep him on that track, get his shoulders turned towards the sideline. We're in good shape. I show this play. You just love the coverage here. So they're going to rock and roll their safeties at the snap. So he's all the way up, and then he comes all the way down and makes his play on the running back. Based up here, manned up here. So they just go to it. It's just cover 3, but they start so deep for him to come all the way up and make this play, man. Big time. Okay, we got a 2nd and 8. Look, they got that double mugs with 2 wide 3 techniques now. There's a couple things I love about this play. First of all, this is what I'm talking about. When they get up, I just think it's too easy to block their linebackers in this scenario. And you just see you have great angles. I mean, the big block here is Orlando Brown Jr. on Cam Hayward. He ends up getting it and lets you know about it right here. I love the fist bump, touch, chest pound, whatever you want to call it. See from this angle, there are plays to be made. Tight end has to block out. We just bring that wide receiver in to block a safety. Green Bay Packers run this all the time. She'd walk on that backside. Cam Hayward, blocking him one-on-one is tough business. Orlando Brown Jr. goes about 350, so that's going to be an interesting one for sure. We got motion to bunch with a tight end attached, under center. Everybody's up. Big plays. You look at the linebackers from the sideline copy here. Walking up. Really just don't have everybody in the hole. I mean, safeties miss. Open field tackles obviously are difficult. You see the pursuit. I mean, Hayward's all the way down here making the play at the end, man. That's crazy. The guy's like 40 years old. What a stud. So they just go to an under front here. And they do a good job. And this is, again, you see, I think this is 98 at the 3 technique spot. Nice push-pull, but you're getting yourself out of position. And you're making that hole huge for Patrick Queen. Same thing with 95 over here on the backside with the left guard. So really, when you look at these plays, what I'm talking about, sometimes these guys, my opinion, this is a little bit undisciplined because you're both expanding the hole. He's going out, and then you just leave this massive space for your linebacker. And Patrick Green's a great linebacker, but center on linebacker at the line of scrimmage, you want that center to win 100, 10 out of 10 times here. So again, opportunities, especially you just think about Josh Jacobs and his ability to run through like an arm tackle. Got to get excited about those opportunities when they walk up and you got a run play like this on just a basic run play. Tight end attached. Little fade route. Jalen Ramsey is a phenomenal corner and has been in this league, but he does have games where he gets beat a lot by good receivers. Here's a question for you. Do you think T. Higgins is receiver number 1 on the Green Bay Packers? I mean, look at this guy. I mean, phenomenal throw, first off. But what speed? Jeez, oh Pete. That's a lot of talent on the field. All right, we have a 2nd and 3 here. They motion over, and everyone's loving these tight bunches right now. They back it up. And this was open all day. Go back to the beginning. Just to keep this open. So they motion across. Safety follows. He knows he's got this one-on-one down underneath. What a release by Jamar Chase. I mean, obviously a phenomenal player, but Romeo Doubs is running that route as well as anybody else. All right, a little 2x2 look here, almost a stack up top. I showed this play because watch the amount of interested parties there are in Jamar Chase. I mean, this is insane. I'll show you this here. When he throws this ball, they've got everybody converging on one, and this poor slot corner is going like, what about me? I don't know if we have a guy that they're going to, give that kind of attention to, but man, it'd be great if we did. All right, we got a 12 personnel, gotten their, base 3-4 look. They decide to bring 55. And you just get caught looking here a little bit. 33 is an outside linebacker. He is first or second year player. These are always tough, I think, for you put this outside linebacker in conflict here with the block. And then certainly you see that second tight end fold underneath. You're just in a bad spot. You love how the Bengals run everybody to the other side of the field there to keep it open. 2nd and 10 look. They're in their nickel. Again, I think they have 3 really good pass rushers on the edge. Here's 97 and 90 meeting at the quarterback. These guys can just still get it done at a high level. Cam Hayward, they've had some really good, obviously outside linebackers, but also kind of those 3-4 D tackles over the course of the last, really 2 decades. But God, he's just such a simple, quick move, but he's such a strong, fast human and so efficient. TJ Watt, of course, being one of the premier guys in the league. Really not a power rusher. Does such a good job of flipping his hips on the edge. His turn radius on edge rushes is next level. Similar to earlier where they're bringing that safety, they bring the linebackers when they know it's a running situation. They just do a great job of swarming to the football. They're super aggressive. I think we see it's a not feast or famine necessarily, but you like these opportunities. I think if you're the Packers, when they're all, you're 1 tackle away here from making plays, and they're 1 tackle away from getting you at the line of scrimmage or behind. So when we start talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, Aaron Rodgers is, look, they're running a very kind of unique offense in the National Football League right now. They run a ton of 6 O line. They've got, Darnell Washington, I think he's out of Georgia. When he was coming out, man, he's like 300 pounds. So they effectively have, at least 6 linemen on the field at all times, just based on his size. But when they bring that second guy in, or that 6 lineman, and they've got them all on the field, we'll show some sets here. I mean, you're moving humans, and you're expecting those defensive ends to be overwhelmed by the size of either that offensive lineman or Darnell Washington. So they do a phenomenal job with that. But when it comes down to, I think, in these critical moments, is Aaron Rodgers can just make plays and we all know it, at an extreme level. I mean, this throw is, we'll show it from the end zone, but man, this throw is just unbelievable.
Oh, it is time to get our prize picks in for Sunday Night Football. Packers and Steelers in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers versus the Green Bay Packers. This one's going to be a ton of fun. I am going with two pretty simple ones here. Aaron Rodgers, more than 215.5 passing yards. Aaron, Mr. Chip on his shoulder. He's going to want to have a big game in this one. We've seen Green Bay give up some yards to Jacoby Brissett and Joe Flacco. You can bet that Aaron Rodgers is going to want to get his in this one. More than 215.5 passing yards for him. And Josh Jacobs, simple as can be, a touchdown. He is a machine in the red zone. They give him multiple opportunities. Pittsburgh gives up a lot of yards, a lot of points. I expect Josh Jacobs to get a touchdown in this one. So Aaron Rodgers, more than 215.5 passing yards. Josh Jacobs, a touchdown in this game. Of course, you can go over to Sleeper and get a 100% match by utilizing code PACKADAY up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. Check out Sleeper for that. Also, right now on Sleeper, you can have a $20 play without any deposit necessary. Terms and conditions apply for that as well. But that is an awesome opportunity. Go check out Sleeper if you haven't already. They're available in over 25 states nationwide. So what are you waiting for? Get your picks in for Sunday Night Football. Green Bay, Pittsburgh. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm excited about my picks this week. Hey friends, hope you're enjoying today's show with Mike Wahle. If you're enjoying these episodes, just know that one of the main reasons we're able to have guests like Mike and all of our incredible guests that we have all throughout the year is because of our great sponsors. So today I just want to give an extra shout out to Luigi's Frozen Pizzas and Alchemy Wealth Management for sponsoring today's show. You know where to get Luigi's Frozen Pizza, your frozen food section, your freezer section at your favorite grocer. Cannot recommend it enough. You're going to want to stock up. Packers, Steelers, we're hoping for some victory pizzas, hopefully on Monday. I'm hoping to kick Monday off with a breakfast pizza after what is likely to be a late night following Packers, Steelers. Check them out over at luigispizza.com and on social media at Luigi's Pizza. And again, stock up on those pizzas all season long with Luigi's Frozen Pizzas. Also, Alchemy Wealth Management. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's so simple. Retirewithryan.net. It is completely free. There's, first of all, if you're not even looking to get any sort of consultation or anything like that, he's got a free PDF that you can download that's going to help you out. No cost, no nothing. Just download the PDF and you're good to go. If you want to set up that free consultation, though, did I mention free consultation? Just go to retirewithryan.net, set that up, get it on your calendar, and start planning for your financial future. Ryan is so easy to work with. Cuts out all the jargon, makes it so easy for you to understand what you need to do and make it so that you don't have to do the heavy lifting. Cannot recommend working with him enough. Again, check him out, Alchemy Wealth Management and retirewithryan.net. Now let's get to the rest of today's wonderful show with the great Mike Wahle.
On a rope. Young player at the tackle position and offensive line. They've got some good linemen. I forgot, I'm not going to screw up his name, but the left guard's a good player. He played on the Philadelphia Eagles for a number of years. They've done a lot better job this year, I think, as opposed to last year at least. Freiermuth, they were talking it pretty big on this game. He's having a good season at tight end. But that throw is just... I mean, to be able to flip and throw like that on a rope, man, it's a 40-yard throw. Jeez, oh, Pete. Still got it. It's like Mike Tyson in The Hangover. 3rd and 11, trip set. They'll bang out a lot, you see. One thing that's coming up a lot with these, and it'll be interesting to see if the Packers take advantage or if they want to blitz Rodgers. He's so good against the blitz, but when you bang out here, not necessarily in empty because you're going to have some hot answers anyways, but when these guys bang out, more often than not, you have kind of a hot guy if you're bringing a bunch of players. And, let's say, for example, they start bringing these guys. Like, you have to have hot answers, right? And one thing that's coming up is if you keep banging out your tight ends and your backs chipping out, you're sometimes losing your hot reads. And I don't know if it matters for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, but it does matter. So interesting to see what they do here. DK Metcalf, I think he's running a little chair route here. Up top, obviously great pickup. They lose a guy, Pickens to Dallas. They bring in DK. DK's, obviously one of the elite athletes at the wide receiver position. He'll be a tough matchup for anybody. Under center. Now this is where this isn't just their this isn't even their big personnel. I think they got Jonnu Smith in there, 81. So this is 12, but this isn't their 12 jumbo. But you'll see 80 here. I mean, it's just an extra offensive lineman. They bring 81 in. Now you got 12 personnel, but I mean, this dude, that's just a lineman, And then so this is what everybody else considers a tight end, and he's a phenomenal player. But you just got size over here now in a way that we're just not used to seeing. And they do a really good job of taking advantage of it. And they get some, they've got a back's got some wheels on them, and they take advantage of it. And he's just understanding how you're going to match up against their personnel groupings. And, you probably see a lot of Isaiah McDuffie this week. And one, maybe we're playing maybe some 5-down line. I don't know. It would be interesting to see how they address it. This play, let me go back to the start because maybe we're not seeing. So they motion across Washington. 74 is an extra offensive lineman. So you've got your 6-0 line plus Darnell Washington. You got your 7 monster bodies in there, and they're going to run a damn lead with their 6 offensive line. And when you watch this play, they've run it a couple different ways. I like the toss. They do the quick toss out of gun. I think this one's better because it bounces out the linebackers, but I mean, good Lord. Look at all the beef that's coming at you here if you're going, from right to left. And they've got that 3 technique on the backside, so you really have that bubble you get to run into here, play side. You got this bubble, so you really got this great double, and now you've just got dudes coming down and crushing into that C gap. And 74 is he's just kind of reading this out. That's a fun-ass way to play football, man. God, 3rd and 18. Aaron Rodgers right here, he's going to throw the seam to the tight end, and there's just not a lot of people who can make that throw. I mean, if you're watching this on the next day's tape, you're talking that safety. It's like, well, what do you want me to do? He's going halves right here. Aaron brings him back into the middle. Tough throw. Phenomenal. 11 personnel. They got the quick toss. And the quick toss, look, they're not always going to have success, but when you've got this size out here and you effectively have this extra offensive lineman here with the size of this guy, it hits different on that stand-up defensive end out there. Now, do you feel good about Rashawn Gary out there? You do, because I think he's so good in the run. But you just see the width that they get. And what that really does for you is in most teams, you're not thinking about, the ideal scenario is you get the double here, because this player, that 3 tech, can really screw this play up. But a lot of teams are going to go out and they're going to work it this way and then up because they're worried about the tight end getting beat. They're not worried about the tight end getting beat. It just gives them a lot more solid work on the inside. You see that right guard just is able to get leverage and turn. And that's, usually that's where that play gets stretched. Another 1st and 10 under center. They got their jumbo 12 in. You see the same idea. It's just you got guys out there that can move humans now in a way that is not normal. And it allows you, again, we've got angles. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers here, you've got leverage. You've got, I mean, there's a natural hole here already. But really, you allow this guy to bounce off the hip and rise instead of having to double here and maybe 92 being able to extend this play. The guard on these toss plays is usually responsible for the play going or not. If the guard can make that guy either hook him early or push him off the line of scrimmage and get his hips turned, that's when you find a lot of success. And they're just able to do that at a much higher clip because they don't have to worry about that jumbo tackle or that tight end blocking that defensive end one-on-one. Totally changes the game. Under center, same look. Man, I love this. I mean, offensive linemen's got to love this offense. Now, the thing is, they're not really efficient at running the football. I think they average like under 4 yards a carry. You watch this tape, and when they're in this mode here, and they just run, really they're just running a toss counter. But they're toss counters with 2 offensive linemen effectively. And you just look at from the end zone if we show it here. I mean, look at the angles you have now. If you're just going to go down, bang, and then you just got another guy coming through. These are fantastic angles. And if anybody can get on 22 who's just off the screen at the safety position, 74 kind of screws this up. Or 77, excuse me. I mean, he's really going back to 55. But they end up just getting double there because the Bengals aren't fast for the team. Another quick toss look. And they don't even get anything good here. But they're right there. You see the left guard pull here. Watch the left guard. You watch the left guard here. Pull and just take out this defensive end on the double. They end up losing outside, and that's, it's always something that's going to happen, but love it. A true 12, 80 and 81 are in the game. I think we're going to run another quick toss here. Other thing you see out of the quick toss is they're doing a good job of hiding it. I don't know if we can maybe you guys can appreciate it from the end zone copy, but this player is not super wide. A lot of times when you run the quick toss, or like if they're gonna exit early for a pass play, he's out all the way out here. But because he's kind of close to the quarterback, it doesn't just give away they're gonna run some kind of quick toss play. And we see it. This is kind of what I was talking about before. They're bringing Zach Frazier over, who was I think the West Virginia 4-time national champion wrestler or something, to come here. But what you want, ideally in these scenarios, what you'd love to see is this guy be able to go bang here and then go out, or if he's going up to 55, as opposed to bringing the center. This is something, if you're thinking about from when the Packers, one thing you love to do is you're kind of losing your advantage here because you're not in jumbo 12 anymore, so you feel like you have to do this instead of this. This is being able to secure 92 here. You can see would be much more advantageous. Fun plays though. Fun plays.
All right, so as you can see, there's a lot going on that tape, offensively and defensively. This is going to be a really fun football game. I don't even know the spread yet, to be honest with you, but I look at who's going to win the battle at the line of scrimmage from the Packers' offense versus their defense. With the amount of pressure they like to bring, with the amount of people they like to walk up, there are huge opportunities for Josh Jacobs to kind of get to that 1v1 in the whole matchup that we love, where he can run through an arm tackle, make a guy miss, and oftentimes there's nobody behind them for 20 yards. So I think that's going to be a really interesting part of the game. I would love to see. I could visualize him having a big football game on the ground this week. And then offensively or defensively, what are we going to do to address the 6 tight end look? Are we going to go 5 down linemen? I mean, how much are we going to see of my guy Isaiah McDuffie? How are we going to address that? And then what do you do with DK Metcalf? What do you do with an arm talent like Aaron Rodgers, who is, he's still a highly, highly talented thrower of the football. I don't want to say he's a conservative player because he makes these throws that maybe he just makes things look too easy. But him coming back, that whole narrative, the emotions that go around it, wanting to prove something to him, I'm sure, going to be a lot of fun. Guys, enjoy this game. We'll talk about it next week. This will be on the Andy Herman Pack a Day podcast. Thanks again, Andy, for putting me on. Enjoy the game, guys.